In Part 9, we began our consideration of the first resurrection, recorded in Revelation chapter 20. Those in the first resurrection rule and reign with Christ. They are synonymous with the 144,000 in Revelation chapters 7 and 14, and with the souls in the fifth seal. If my understanding is correct, they are also those killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone in the sounding of the sixth trumpet, mentioned further in Revelation 11:13 as slain of men 7,000 and the remnant. Those in the first resurrection are the book of life. The common element in the fifth seal, sixth trumpet, and first resurrection is death, the loss of earthly life, always inwardly, but also outwardly at times, for many believers in the early church persecuted and killed for their faith. Now let's take another look at the 144,000. And after these things I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Four angels, corners, and winds. That's a 12. Stamping these passages with the idea of divine government and judgment, agreeing with the first resurrection. Note that John sees an angel ascending, not descending, from the east, typifying the rising of the sun or light of Christ in the 144,000. The spiritual light or wisdom of these souls is made more apparent by the statements, seal of the living God, and sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. In Revelation 14:1, this seal is identified as the Father's name written in their foreheads. In the Bible, name is often associated with nature. Therefore, to have the Father's name in the forehead alludes to the mind of Christ and the divine nature. Strong's defines seal as a signet, as fencing in or protecting from misappropriation. By implication, the stamp impressed as a mark of privacy or genuineness, literal or figurative. The word sealed in Revelation 7:3 is taken from this root in Revelation 7:2, meaning to stamp with a signet or private mark for security or preservation, literal or figurative. Google Gemini gives us the following regarding the meaning of signet. A signet is primarily a small seal, often mounted on a ring, that is used to authenticate documents or make an official mark. The word signet comes from the Latin word signum, meaning sign. Historically, signets were crucial for rulers, government officials, and those engaged in business, as they served as a personal signature or authentication mark at a time when many people couldn't write. The engraved face of the signet, often bearing a unique family crest, coat of arms, monogram, or other personal symbol, would be pressed into hot wax or soft clay to seal letters, contracts, and other important documents. This impression was considered highly official and difficult to forge. First time the word seal is found in the New Testament is in Romans 4:11, where it speaks of the sign of circumcision, a seal of the righteousness of faith which Abraham possessed, yet being uncircumcised. So the seal identifies with faith and the covenants. The word for sealed is found 16 times in the King James New Testament. 16 is the number of love. At his website, BibleNumbersForLife.com, Mark Lane cites 16 as sacrifice. This would equate to greater love. The word for sealed is found 15 times in the King James New Testament. Stephen Jones states that 15 means a new direction, while Mark Lane says covenant, and Bullinger says acts wrought by the energy of divine grace. All of these actually agree with one another and enhance the idea of what is meant by a seal. This brings us to the following. Labor not for the meat which perishes, but for that meat which endures unto everlasting life, which the Son of Man shall give to you, for him has God the Father sealed. Not surprisingly, we see that Christ was sealed by the Father. Now he who establishes us with you in Christ and has anointed us is God, who also has sealed us and given us the Spirit in our hearts as a guarantee. Here, Paul speaks of himself, Timothy, and the believers in Corinth as sealed. In Revelation, seal and sealed are used regarding the 7 seals of the scroll or book in the Father's right hand and the sealing of the 144,000, connecting the two. That said, the 7-sealed scroll in the Father's right hand not only typifies the will and work of the Father through Christ by the word of the covenants, but also the fact that all of this is accomplished by Christ through his people. No wonder Paul said with all confidence that the church is built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. Since the 144,000 are sealed, they are protected from misappropriation. This brings us to Revelation chapter 14. They sang, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the elders. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. These are the ones who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being firstfruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, but they are without fault before the throne of God. No doubt the 144,000 stand out like no other in Revelation. What do we read? No one can learn that song except them. These were not defiled with women, being virgins. These follow the Lamb wherever he goes, redeemed from among men as firstfruits to God and to the Lamb. And most importantly, in their mouth was found no deceit. Does this not agree with genuineness and protection from misappropriation, suggesting that only Christ, the apostles, and the early church possessed the gospel in its purity? And so we find the following. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed a little season. Set a seal upon him, that is, on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. Based on everything we've considered, is this seal not Christ, the apostles, and many from the early church? Didn't their testimony set all of this in motion? Many today do not know that a falling away of the church was prophesied to occur before the day of the Lord. But before this, there was no Babylon, the mother of harlots, no beast rising out of the sea or earth. The church had not yet turned their ears from the truth, but stood strong in faith. Truth prevailed. But there was intense opposition and persecution, not just against the Lord, but also those he empowered to bring the gospel to the rest of the world. And so the little season unfolded, and many died as martyrs of the faith. Is it any wonder then that following the sealing of the 144,000, John sees a great multitude which no one could number, of all nations, tribes, peoples, and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, they who come out of the great tribulation? Truth began to falter, and the war was on. That's it for this study, but there's certainly more to come. Please feel free to like, comment, or subscribe, and I sincerely thank you for being a part of Grain of Wheat Publishing.